Welcome agents, today I want to talk about Dark Zone activities and objectives which have been, open quotation, close quotation, confirmed in the Division 2. If you enjoyed this one, please don't forget to hit the like button below, leave a comment and subscribe if you're new. And with all that said, let's get into the video. So I recently put out a community post asking you agents what Dark Zone activities and ideas you had for the Division 2. The reason for this is because some time ago, SkillUp and Arekkz were playing the Division 2 demo when SkillUp confirmed the Dark Zone would be very different in the Division 2 compared to the Division. SkillUp confirms we'll be getting activities and objectives like stealing loot and other such things. Here, take a look at the Twitch clip.
Hamish is whispering in my ear, feel free to try to roll through the wall and see if we can get into the Dark Zone.
Do we want to break it?
I used to be a game tester, I'll have you know.
Yeah, there you go. So we could do that.
So I'm not, there you go.
Everyone is desperate to understand what but apparently there's more stuff to do in the Dark Zone. It's not just about killing people now. Like there are objectives and other things that will make you go rogue.
Okay.
You know, like stealing things and the like. So, you know, they're trying to make it a more interesting experience.
So what do you think of that, agents? Let's take a look at some of your comments and see what you agents had for ideas. Game for Life said, something going rogue related. Now it's funny you say that because SkillUp does confirm in the clip that there will be other ways to go rogue aside from just shooting people like you do in the Division 1. Well, actually you have to flag it now, but just before you start shooting people. Now SkillUp confirms there will be activities that include stealing, for example. And I totally agree with Game for Life if their comments means what SkillUp has confirmed. The DZ does need to grow and provide something new. So having activities and objectives in the DZ, which when completed make you go rogue, is a really good idea, in my opinion. Having numerous ways to go rogue has to be a very good move, in my opinion, and I'm sure anyone who doesn't like being shot in the back will be glad to hear about this, because this should reduce the chance of this happening as people will find other ways to go rogue, aside from just, you know, waiting for someone to shoot NPCs and then running up on them. SkillUp specifically mentions stealing as one way to go rogue, which is something I will touch on shortly. Next up, we have Danny T28, who says, put friendly fire back on. Okay, now this is one of those things that I think the community is very divided on, at least for the Division. I'm not sure how it would work in the Division 2. Now I'm on Danny's side here, and I think turning friendly fire back on for the Dark Zone has to be in the Division 2. And this change in the Division was one that I wasn't really happy about whatsoever. Now you've got one side saying it needs to be off because it was way too easy to go accidentally rogue, as agents would naturally run in front of you whilst you're aiming down sights trying to down another rogue, for example. The downside being that there was no punishment for those agents whose aim was way off, or agents who wanted to spam nades without any consequence. With the amount of nades there are in the Division, you could spam pretty much an endless amount with no consequences of where they pretty much landed, and you imagine 4 or 5 agents doing that on one rogue and they're just going to go down by nades ultimately. Now the side I am on would say that if you go accidentally rogue, that is on you, and it's what makes the Dark Zone the Dark Zone. It's what makes it gives it that dark part of the zone. It's lawless and it's hard and it's meant to be unforgiving. Now what the devs have done in the Division 2 is address the nade spam, and that will no longer be a thing. And we know this because in the demo and also in their confirmation recently, I believe it was towards the end of September actually. I believe it was September when they talked about exotic weapons and stuff. They did talk about grenades. You get one specific grenade for each specialist, and then you'd be able to get a grenade on top of that. And you're not going to get a million grenades like you do in the Division. Is pretty much what it is. But aside from that, I think agents should be punished for firing a whole round into another agent who isn't rogue, and I actually have a strong suspicion based on Terry Spire's comments that the toggle rogue will not be in the Division 2, and instead it will go back to how the Dark Zone was at the start of the Division, and friendly fire will be turned back on, which again I'm really happy about. Now let me know, agents, what you think about in the comments below, and be nice. I know friendly fire and Rogue 2.0 are a sensitive subject, but I think it's one we need to get a grasp on because it's likely this will split the community within the Division 2. I just hope the devs have found a good playing ground where both communities will be happy. Okay, so I said earlier I wanted to talk about the idea of stealing within the Division 2, which hasn't been confirmed yet, but if SkillUp says this is somewhat included within the Dark Zone of the Division 2, then I'm pretty confident this is coming. Let's not forget that SkillUp was the golden boy of the Division, and now does game reviews, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he is and probably still is the man when it comes to the Division. If he does cover it, the Division 2 into when it comes out, then he's likely to be the biggest channel covering it at the time. So I'm pretty sure it will be coming. So let's just assume stealing will be coming, and let's talk about what this could be. The first thing that springs to mind and something I really want in the Division 2 is stealth mechanics. And this is something I've talked about before. This is one thing I think the Dark Zone survival and the story missions really missed in the Division. And I think the game could really pull it off well, especially when you consider that the cover-to-cover movement is actually really good within the Division. It's actually one of the best parts of the Division and one of the only parts that really works really, really well. And from after playing the Division 2 demo, I'd have to say it works just as well within the Division 2. Now, I'm not sure how this would work in the Dark Zone, if this meant you had to try and steal something from another agent, but I can certainly see how this would work in the PvE environment within the Dark Zone. Now, an idea I had was that an activity would flag in the Dark Zone, and you can choose to accept or reject this objective or activity, whatever you want to call it. Now, if you accept this objective, your goal is to head over to somewhere and protect, for example, 3 objects from being stolen. Now, these 3 things would be spread apart a fair bit, meaning you'd have to go between each one to make sure they are safe. Now, if you accept this activity, another notification would go out for anyone to accept that they would be the agent that has to steal one of those objects. I've not really thought about this too much, as you can probably tell, because I'm not really a game developer. But maybe if you were to run in there, not only would you be easy to hear, but the agent protecting these 3 objects would have a sensor type radar which would alert them of where the movement is coming from. The point of this is you'd have to be as quiet as possible. You'd have to utilise these stealth mechanics. Of course, your objective as the thief would be to sneak into the area and take the loot without being caught. Now, again, this could be the worst idea ever, and when I read it back to myself, it does kind of sound like a really bad idea, but the point I'm trying to make is that it would be nice to have some PvP type stealth mechanics within the Division 2, and if stealing was involved, that you'd have to try and steal something from another agent. I'm sure you guys and the devs have much better ideas than I do, so I would like you to leave your comments below of how they could implement stealth into the Dark Zone in kind of like a PvP sort of way. Also, if you want, you can include a PvE sort of way, which would be a lot easier, I think. Of course, the confirmation of stealing within the Division 2 or in the DZ of the Division 2 does not mean stealth has to be a part of it. And it could be similar to how you cut the rope in the Division. I mean, this is stealing, but it's a lot more chaotic and it's definitely not stealthy at all. Okay, agents, lastly, I haven't really talked about the objectives and activities that SkillUp confirms will be in the Dark Zone and is meant to make it more of a fun experience. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a really good move for the devs to make. So many people wanted to go into the Dark Zone, not for the PvP, but just for the aesthetics and the experience, because no other mode within the Division had this, and it was unique to the game. No other game has this type of experience. So having a place where you want to go but you can't because you don't want to engage in PvP, the devs have to do something. So having activities and objectives will likely encourage more people to go in and stay there. Not just that, but I would assume loot will be tied to these objectives once completed, meaning that whilst you would have to extract anything that the NPCs dropped, the rewards at the end would go straight into your bag, just like the Division when you clear landmarks. Now, this is very good, as it reassures the agents who don't want to go in there in PvP that they can get loot without having to extract. Objectives and activities that could be coming, I just have no idea at this point. And I can't imagine we'll learn anything about this stuff anytime soon. It's likely this won't be revealed in December, so again, agents, I need you to head down to those comments below and leave your ideas. Now, I'm looking into making a follow-up video to this, speculating ideas on ideas for objectives and activities within the Division 2. So if I do make that video, I will be using your comments and will of course credit you. So yeah, please be generous with your comments below. So there you are, agents. I'm getting super excited for the DZ news coming in December. And I really want to get the community talking about this, because when the beta comes out, the devs will want to know what we think. So I think it's a good idea that we get some ideas down and get good at this early. Now, I want the Division 2 to be the best it can be, which is why I'm making videos consistently about the Division 2, which includes confirmed news, speculation and more. And I do hope you guys appreciate, not the work, I mean it doesn't take me too long to make these videos, but the commitment at least that I'm making to getting Division 2 speculation or news out to you as soon as possible. Now, if the devs are watching, which I highly doubt it, especially when I've not even been selected as a Ubisoft star player, I promise you I'm not salty about that, so don't worry. Then I'd hope that they could watch these videos and get ideas for future DLCs or changes they could make before launch to make it as successful as possible. I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 weeks after the Division 2 has come out, we will know how successful the Division 2 is going to be in the future. As I said at the start of the video, this news has not been confirmed by Ubisoft, but when SkillUp says this is coming, I'm pretty sure it is, especially as SkillUp used to be, as I said before, the biggest Division YouTuber and would likely still be if he decided to move away from game reviews, which by the way are really awesome, and come back to the Division. With that said, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video as always. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new and you want the most recent news about the Division 2 or the Division, or you're just looking for some speculation about the Division 2, because I've got you covered on that front as well. Leave a comment below to all the questions I've asked in this video. That'll be great. And as I said, be generous. Leave as many comments as you like. I do read all of my comments. With that said, until the next one, Epic out.